Hi, welcome back. So in this session, we will be discussing about second normal form. In last session, we discussed about first normal form. So where the condition is, it should be all the attributes should be single valued attribute. That is one enough. The attribute should be atomic value, which means each value should be a single valued attribute in the first normal form. So now moving on to the second normal form. So it should follow the rules of first normal form. In addition to that, all the non-key attributes are fully functional dependent on the primary key, which means except the primary key, other attributes, other columns are fully functionally dependent on the primary key. So that is what the condition for the second normal form. So let's see the rules once again. So the rules are it should be in second normal form, the relational, which relation means table. Table must be in a first normal form. All the non-key attributes except the primary key, all the other column should be fully functionally dependent on the primary key. So if it is partially dependent, which means if there is any column, any attribute is partially dependent, we have to eliminate that. That is what the third rule. It should eliminate the partial dependencies. If any column is partially dependent on the primary key, that column should be eliminated, which means we can't delete the column. In turn, we can create a new table, which means we can decompose the table into new table. One table into two tables. That is what, by eliminating the partial dependencies and maintaining the second rule. So that is what the second normal form. So let's see the example. So consider this table, table name is order, which is having these many attributes. The first column is called as primary key. So as I told already, same example. Okay. So here the customer name and the contact number is partially dependent on the primary key. And similarly, customer ID also. Customer ID, customer name, customer contact number, three columns are partially dependent on the order ID. Okay, but the item name, item ID, item price, manufacturer ID, and manufacturer location are dependent on the order ID. So depending upon the order ID, so these items must dependent, which is fully functionally dependent, which means this column item, name, id, price, manufacturer id, these attributes are fully functionally dependent on the order id, which means for this column it is satisfying the second normal form condition. But these three attributes, customer id, customer name, and the customer contact, are partially dependent. Okay, what we can do is, so in order to maintain the second normal form condition, we can split the table into two new tables, which means sorry. So here the customer ID, customer name, customer contact are partially dependent on the order ID. So we can split the table like this. So the customer ID, customer name, customer contact is separate table. And what else remaining? The item ID, name, price, manufacturer ID, manufacturer location are fully functionally dependent on the customer ID. Okay, sorry, order ID. So we can make the table like this. So removing the partially dependent in a separate table and fully functionally dependent in the separate table. So we are decomposing the table into two tables. So now check out the table. So table 1 is customer ID, customer name, customer. So all these non-key attributes are fully functionally dependent on the customer ID, primary key. Similarly, item ID, item name, item price, manufacturer ID, location are fully functionally dependent on the order ID. So here one more column you can see, customer ID. What happens here is, if you decompose the table into two tables, how can we link the two tables? Because these two tables are belong to the one single table, right? We cannot completely wipe out the two tables as a two independent table, but the tables are it is linked, right? So to link these new tables, so I'm using this customer ID as another column. So this column is used to link the second table. So we'll discuss later primary key, foreign key, and all. Okay, so this customer ID is it is fully functionally dependent on the order ID. It satisfies the condition. Okay, so this customer ID is used to link the another table that in a separate area, right? So here the point is, the single table which is not satisfying the 2NF condition, we are decomposing the table into two new tables. That is what.